without further ado, let's go right ahead and talk about LeBron James and his new contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, if you guys remember before, he was supposed to sign a $104 million contract for 2 years, which is the max, and that would put the Lakers into the second apron, which is not ideal. You see, a lot of teams, they are doing a lot more sign and trades. They're doing a lot more trading as well to sort of try and avoid going into that second apron. Now, this new contract that LeBron James took is 2-year, $101.3 million. So, just a little bit, $2.7 million below the actual contract that he was supposed to sign, the actual max that he was supposed to sign, or that we thought that he was going to sign. So this allowed the Lakers to stay below the second luxury tax, which is obviously, the second apron. And LeBron actually has some, he told reporters on Sunday that reducing his pay was all about giving the Lakers flexibility to try and improve the roster. According to Tim Bontemps from Twitter, LeBron says he took less money to get the Lakers under the second apron because when you're in a relationship, there are things you have to do sometimes. And he wanted to make sure they had more flexibility to alter the roster. So, $2.7 million isn't going to hurt LeBron. I'm sure it's not. He's one of the richest basketball players that the world has ever seen. So it makes total sense how I feel like he would take this pay cut. But at the same time, while he is incredibly rich, he's also incredibly cheap. And, there was this one time where he said that he doesn't pay for Spotify. He still has, he doesn't pay for Spotify Premium. He doesn't pay any subscriptions. If there's an app on the App Store that costs like $2, he's not buying it. I know $2 is not going to hurt LeBron James. That is like 2 cents to him. But he won't do it. So it makes sense how he wants the money. And obviously, LeBron, he's going to invest that money. He's very good at investing, and he's very good at, expanding the amount of money that he makes. I mean, he is a billionaire, for crying out loud. So bringing aboard J.J. Redick as the new head coach has been the biggest story of the Lakers in quite recently in the offseason, especially since James' return, as was widely expected, especially since signing his son. And wait just a second, we have a Woj tweet coming in, and I'm just going to go ahead and go into the breaking news segment real quick because this Woj tweet just happened literally 20 seconds ago. So Haywood Highsmith has agreed to a 2-year, $11 million contract to return to the Miami Heat. Jerry Daniels tells ESPN he has significant interest around the league, but stays with franchise that developed him into an NBA player. Like, a lot of teams were really interested in acquiring him in free agency, and this Woj bomb literally just happened like 20 seconds ago. So I just wanted to go ahead and break that out for any of those Miami Heat fans that are interested. But aside from that, let's go ahead and continue talking about LeBron James and his contract. Now, again, as I mentioned before, J.J. Redick signing with the Lakers and LeBron returning to the Lakers has been the only big move that has happened with the Lakers in free agency. They've missed on so many key players, so many important players. They missed on Klay Thompson. They missed on DeMar DeRozan. They've missed on, DeJounte Murray and so many other players in this free agency market that could have improved the roster. And unfortunately, since, they missed out on them, they're not going to improve anything for the Lakers. And now it's really down to the Lakers and their trading. Like, that's going to be the only way that the Lakers can actually acquire significant talent to their roster via trading. Now, another big move that the Lakers have made was drafting Dalton Knecht. And he's one of those players that a lot of people were really surprised to get, into the 17th pick in the entire draft. Like, a lot of people suspected that they would get that Knecht would be selected a little bit earlier than fall into the hands of the Lakers, because he is one of the more one of the better scorers in college, and he's actually one of the more efficient scorers in college. And obviously, with the Lakers not bringing any sort of free agents, it might be difficult to not include Dalton in a trade scenario. Now, I'm not entirely sure exactly if they're going to even include Dalton in the trades, but then again, it would be a lot easier to trade him as opposed to trading one of the key players that they've had on the team for a long time, like Austin Reeves or maybe even D'Angelo Russell or some of the other players off of the bench. And it's not like the Lakers really have that much talent coming off of the bench that other teams are interested in either. So it seems like they might actually, have to trade one of those big time players. Obviously, nobody is going to be interested in trading for Bronny James. He is the 55 overall pick in the draft, and he's making almost $2 million. And that's obviously a lot of money to pay for a 55 overall pick in the draft. Now, the former route was always going to be difficult. The team pushed right up against the second apron already, so they would have to offload some salaries just to use their $5.2 million taxpayer mid-level exception and remain under the apron. Now, Javon Buha and Shams on the Athletic reported on July 6 that Gary Trent Jr. and Spencer Dinwiddie are two names to watch for if the Lakers clear enough space to use their taxpayer mid-level exception. Now, Spencer Dinwiddie, he was on the Lakers for a short time, and he didn't really do much for the Lakers, so I don't really see why they would try to acquire that kind of player on the roster. Now, Gary Trent Jr., on the other hand, that is a name that is very intriguing to me because I'm very fond of his game. I think he is a great basketball player, and, I shouldn't say great. I think he's a good basketball player, and he's good enough to fill in that role of being the shooter that the Lakers desperately need. Excuse me. Now, granted, a bigger trade could be in the works, but that would most likely require the Lakers parting with a lot of their future draft capital because a lot of teams are going to be interested in the Lakers and their draft picks. Now, it's risky since, LeBron is also 39 years old, and we have no idea how well he is going to be playing in the next year, especially since he's going to have to be playing Olympic basketball over the summer as well, which could put him at risk of injuring himself. Obviously, LeBron has suffered a lot of injuries when he was on the Lakers, given his old age, and playing in the Olympics and not giving him the rest that he needs is really not ideal. Regardless, staying under the second apron is really, really important for the Los Angeles Lakers, and has become a hard cap for teams, given the penalties for exceeding it, as Charania, I completely botched that name. Teams above the second apron cannot trade first-round picks 7 years in the future. They cannot trade cash in a deal, lose their mid-level exception, are limited to 100% salary matching in trades, and cannot combine multiple players in a deal among several other restrictions. So, in other words, if you exceed the second apron, your team better be just about, perfect as is and in good position to win multiple titles like the Boston Celtics. And otherwise, building out a solid team becomes incredibly difficult. So that's essentially the reason why LeBron ended up taking that pay cut and what's to come for the Lakers in the future. Again, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to sign any sort of free agents. Given their luck with free agency, it's really, really bad. And it's almost embarrassing, honestly. But with that, we are out of time for this second segment. So now we will go ahead and go into the third segment where I give a quick update on FIBA basketball. I know I said that I was going to cover some of the Olympic games, and this is part of it because there are several teams that have recently qualified after playing in the FIBA tournaments and the results. So I will be right back after this short break in the third segment talking about FIBA, so be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.